Thanks, Kelly. Yes, what a weekend in the Black Hills. The South Dakota High School State Track Meet rarely disappoints, and this year was no exception, with meet records falling all over the place in what I like to call the spiritual home of track and field in the Rushmore State. To literally all the highlights, beginning in Sturgis with the AA boys, because no one opens a segment with more enthusiasm than Rapid City Central's Sage Hagan. The senior would have a big weekend in his backyard as he defends his triple jump title and wins the long jump en route to earning AA boys field MVP honors. Watertown's Pierre Leary had a pretty nice weekend too. He was the favorite in the 110s and the 300s entering state, and he'd capture both hurdles titles to go along with a second place finish in the high jump. But as good as Lear was, your AA boys track MVP was unequivocally Braden Peterson of Brandon Valley. The Lynx senior would just edge defending 100 and 200 meter champion Colin Bryson of Lincoln for each of those titles on Saturday. Plus, he'd win the 400 as well to complete the sprint triple, something that hasn't happened in AA this millennium. And then for good measure, he'd anchor the Lynx to a come-from-behind win in the 4x4 to cap a perfect weekend for Peterson. Not bad for a guy who started running track last year. Wink. I told you records went down all weekend, and the Sioux Falls-Lincoln sprint relay teams were front and center in that conversation. The Pats would break the all-time South Dakota 4x1 record on Friday before setting the AA state meet record in the 4x2 on Saturday. Those were two of a number of top performances for Lincoln, who would also get wins in the high jump, the 4x8, and the 3200, as well as podium finishes in almost every event across the board to rack up a new state meet record 174 team points to earn their third straight AA boys state championship.
It was an incredible weekend. I'm so proud of the boys. We got great senior leadership. Proud of what they did all year. Worked hard and just had a great attitude, and it was fun to coach them. I had a great experience and really going to miss them.
To AA girls, where the crew from Sioux Falls, Washington would join the Lincoln boys as new all-time state record holders. Nanis Kerr and company would snap the old 4x1 mark by 0.04 of a second. Well done to the Warriors, and also well done to Stevens' Elizabeth Schaefer, who racked up the second 100-300 hurdle double in her career. She now has 6 state hurdle titles, and she's still got another year ahead of her. Schaefer's efforts would earn her co-track MVP honors with Lincoln's Courtney Klatt, who would win the mile and the 2 mile for the second straight year, with her 3200 title coming just over an hour after she ran a 2:16 to take second in the 800. Incredible stuff there. Your winner, by the way, in that 800, Ellie Abraham of Brookings, who went platinum with a 2:13.53 effort to earn her second straight half-mile state crown. The sophomore would also lead the Bobcats to a state title in the medley the following day. Speaking of state titles, perhaps none was sweeter this weekend than those captured by Brandon Valley's Krista Bickley. Less than a year after tearing her ACL, the Lynx Junior would come back to claim her third straight 400-meter crown and anchor BV to their 5th straight 4x4 title. Bickley's return, along with a host of other big-time performances from pole vault champ Hannah Hendrick, Kennedy Niebel and the title-winning 4x2 team, and many others, would bring the Lynx to the top of the girls' team podium for the first time in school history. After 3 straight runner-up finishes, you know this championship was extra sweet.
This has been something that we've been working a long time to do, and we've been really close the last 3 years, and I'm really happy for our kids because of all their hard work and dedication. They finally achieved this goal.
To spearfish now in Class A, where Caleb Carnes of Beersford would have himself a day. The senior would win the shot put, take second in the discus, and audition for the new Indiana Jones reboot. He's your Class A boys field MVP. One of the favorites to win Class A track MVP was West Central's Derek Peters, and he would live up to those expectations, anchoring the Trojans to a win in the 4x8 and claiming the 1600 meters. But he would surprisingly not win his premier event, the 2 mile, as Custer's Joe Rush would get that title over Peters by just 0.8 of a second in one of the big upsets of the weekend. Elsewhere, Justice Adams of Sioux Falls Christian made sure there would be no surprises in the hurdles. The Charger senior would set a new state meet record in the 110s and capture his second straight 300 hurdle crown. But despite his and his teammates' efforts, Christian's bid for back-to-back team titles would come up just short, thanks to perennial power St. Thomas More. The Cavs would get wins in the 100 from Thomas Rafferty, the 200 from Jacob Hyde, the 400 and 800 through Ty Trainer, and the pole vault with Jens Christensen. Plus, they would win the 4x1 and capture their 6th consecutive 4x2 title, enough to see STM back on top of the podium for the 3rd time in the last 4 years. If you were looking for drama this weekend, look no further than Class A girls, where Friday in Spearfish, Custer's Tori Glazier was vying for her 6th straight 800 title, but this time it was not meant to be. St. Thomas More freshman Haley Timmer would drop a 2:13.61 to become the first person other than Glazier to win the half in Class A since 2012. Glazier would appear to rebound the following day in the mile after establishing a sizable lead in the final 200, only to tighten up and fall in the final meters. Vermilion's Maddie Lavin would close and cross just in front to earn the win and finish off the mile, 2-mile distance double for the 2nd time in her career. Lavin would also help the Tanagers take 2nd in the 4x8. That'd be enough to help her win track MVP honors. In the field, lead Deadwood's Carolyn Groger would not only win her 3rd straight pole vault title, she'd break the meet record by half a foot and move into 11th all-time in South Dakota with an 11:10 clearance in Spearfish on Friday. Now, most years, that would be worthy of field MVP consideration, but not during the reign of Belfouche's Shayla Howell. The Wyoming recruit would hit 39 feet to win her 3rd straight triple jump title, set a new all-class state meet record in the long jump at 19.3 1/4. That's good enough for 3rd best all-time. And then casually set the meet record in the 100 and win the 200 to give her 12 individual state track championships for her career. My goodness. 40 points from Howell and help from her Bronx jump crew would help give Bell 2nd place in the team standings, but they'd be a distant 2nd behind the girls from St. Thomas More. The Cavs would excel in the relays, winning the 4x1 and 4x8 to go along with great depth all over the track, and that proved more than enough for the Cavaliers to lift the team title for the 4th year running.
It never gets old because it's a different group of kids, and you just have different relationships with the kids, and so it's a little different every time, but it's always special.
The record-breaking would continue in Class B, thanks to Harriet Selby area's Trevor Begeman. He'd break a 19-year-old meet record with this shot put throw of 60 feet, 2 1/4 inches, good enough for the all-class gold medal and platinum title as well. On the track, we'd have lots of double winners, including Chester area's Riley Greenhoff, who'd take the 100 and the 200, and Bison's Daniel Burkhalter, who would win his 1st career 800 title and his 4th straight mile crown to give him a total of 10 individual state track championships for his career. But the big winner in B was Freeman freshman Colin Helma. He'd go unbeaten on the weekend, taking the 400 and anchoring the Flyers to wins in the 4x1, 4x2, and 4x4, en route to being named B-Boys Track MVP and lifting the Flyers to a state team championship by just 5 points over Viborg Hurley, just as we predicted they would right here on Midco Sports tonight. Last but not least, the Class B girls had their share of double winners as well. Trip Delmont Armour dominated the sprint relays, winning both the 4x1 and 4x2, while Chester's McKenna Larson would take the 100 and the 200. Delaney Lieber would do them both one better, though, as Newell Sr. would win the 800 and the 1600 for a 2nd year running and add a 400 title to cement her spot as the B girls track MVP. Lieber's field MVP counterpart would be Ashley Vandermeer, one of the catalysts for a Dubrook area side that would win the 4x4 and 4x8, all while racking up 84 points to earn their 2nd straight Class B team title.
Those kids run for each other, and it's so cool. I'm so blessed to be their coach. We have a great staff, and I thank God that I get to work with these kids because they're amazing.
Great stuff. Congrats to all those state champs and the many more that we could not get on today's show, including our winners from North Dakota. Don't worry, we will have full coverage of what went down in Bismarck at the Peace Garden State Meet, and we will reveal our Platinum and Interstate Medley champions. That's all coming up tomorrow on Midco Sports Tonight. Kelly?